Hey guys, welcome back. So this is our kind of overview video of Cape Town and our trip to South Africa. You're going to start by seeing a video from the cable car that takes you from the top of Table Mountain down back into the city. You can hike to the top of Table Mountain if you're feeling adventurous, but if you want to relax a little bit and take the easier route, you can pay a fee. It'll take you up to the top and back. After spending some time on the top, getting in all the panoramic views of the city. You do want to check the weather before you go. If it gets really windy or if the clouds are starting to roll in over the edge of the mountain, they will close this down. So you need a nice, warm, sunny, clear day to really make the most out of your trip. And this is probably one of the top bucket list things to do while you're in Cape Town. So this trip originally was scheduled to be in Asia in the spring for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then we had to change things up and we scheduled it for Antarctica, and then that also got canceled. So we finally decided to use our 2 weeks in the spring and go to Cape Town, as it was relatively easy. With all the kind of things that we had to check off to get into the country. And then once we were there, it was great. So our flights, we lost a couple days. We did have a day layover in London, which we put a separate video up on. And on the way back, it was just 2 days of flying straight. So we had 10 nights, 11 days in Cape Town. So the first thing I guess anybody would think of, or what we thought of when you're going to Africa, any part of Africa, is an African safari. Cape Town does have a couple private game safaris 2 or 3 hours away from Cape Town that you can do on a day trip, and that's what we scheduled. If you have to keep in mind though that these are smaller, you're going to see smaller groups of animals. It's not going to be the herds of hundreds or even thousands. To see that, you're going to either have to go to Kruger, which is in northeast South Africa, or you'll have to go a couple countries further north. That's really where you're going to see your huge game safaris, or your huge safaris where you're going to see lots of animals. And it's going to be a little more expensive. We thought about doing that on this trip, but with things still going on with the pandemic, we didn't want to cross into any other countries and have to worry about more flights and more testing. And we decided once we were in South Africa to stay in South Africa. So you'll see we booked a day excursion at Aquila Private Game Reserve. And we got a couple pictures of the different animals we saw. We did see 4 of the big 5. We did not see the cheetah. That is the hardest to see from what we've been told. But it was still amazing. It was an amazing day trip, well worth the money. We loved everything about it, and just getting to drive around and see some of these animals up close and personal. As long as you know what to expect and what you're getting into and what it is that you're going to see, you'll be happy with it. You'll love it. It's a great thing to do on your trip to Cape Town. So this was pretty much the bulk of day 1. After we kind of got rested on Sunday from our flights, this was our full Monday trip. Again, like I said, we did a 2-hour drive out there. We had lunch, saw the safari, and then came back. Now, on day 2, we decided to go snorkeling in Hout Bay. And yes, we went snorkeling with the seals. Now, this was really advertised on Viator, one of the top trips that you could do. They take you out on a boat in the area where they have a seal colony, and you can snorkel with the seals for about an hour. It was incredible. Just laying in the water. It was cold, so we did have our wetsuits on, but just having them swim around you, and it was a great experience, once in a lifetime experience. Highly recommend that. On day 3, Wednesday, we took our group tour all the way down the Cape. So we went to Cape Point, the Cape of Good Hope. Again, we stopped in Hout Bay. We'd already seen it, so we didn't spend a lot of time there. Chapman's Peak Drive. It was a little overcast as far as the weather goes, but just beautiful sights, beautiful cliffs going off into the ocean, and of course the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Point were views like you couldn't even imagine. It was beautiful. Also, part of this trip was kind of seeing some of the wildlife. Of course, we had a wild ostrich, wild baboons all over the place, and we got to go to the Boulders Beach penguin colony, which you'll see coming up in a few pictures. We got to stop there for about an hour. You can pay a fee to walk along the boardwalk. Definitely recommend that. And you can see a colony of African penguins in their natural habitat, kind of doing their thing, playing, swimming, just relaxing on the beach. And it really makes for some good pictures. This was a good day trip. It's long to drive all the way down the coastline and then drive all the way back. But it is also a must-do while you're in Cape Town. So you see in this picture here, Noodles was holding up her 5 fingers, and it looked like she was showing off a ring or something like that. So we had people actually asked me about that, but she was doing her 5 for her 5th continent. She still has Australia on the list to check off 6 to even up with me, and then we'll try to go to Antarctica as soon as we can fit that into our schedule so we can see our 7th together. But she was excited about taking a couple of pictures on showing off her 5th continent. So, like I said, the penguins were incredible. This entire day trip, you've got to book a day trip down the coast to see the whole Cape, because it's some of the best pictures, some of the best views you're going to see on your entire trip to Cape Town. Now, on Thursday, we had planned on going kayaking in the morning and then doing a boat trip from the waterfront in the afternoon. We ended up getting our only rain for the week that morning, so we had to cancel the kayaking trip. But we went over to the V&A waterfront, which is a huge shopping mall, lots of restaurants on the harbor, really nice, really upscale, a lot of different things to do there, and you'll probably visit it multiple times like we did. We went there probably 5 or 6 times during our vacation, and there are a lot of different opportunities to take a hour tour, hour cruise from the harbor. A lot of different companies that advertise that, so that's easy to do once you get there. And then after our cruise along the waterfront, we went over to Signal Hill for the best sunset pictures that we were able to take. They're just the best sunset period on our trip. You have Lion's Head over in the background from Signal Hill. Now, Signal Hill is the area where all the paragliders kind of run off from, jump off from, if they're able to with the winds. So it's a little bit high in elevation, but you get to see Lion's Head, Table Mountain, and then all the sunset in one. So it just makes for some beautiful pictures. We took a little kind of countryside trip on Friday, and then Saturday was when we did Table Mountain and hiking Lion's Head. So Lion's Head is the smaller of the two. We hiked up to the top level of Lion's Head, got some good views from there, and then we took the cable car, which you saw the video earlier going down. These are the pictures from the top overlooking all of Cape Town. So Sunday we were supposed to go paragliding and then ziplining. That was kind of our adventure day. But because the winds were too strong, we weren't able to go paragliding. So we decided to go to the World of Birds Sanctuary along with their monkey sanctuary, which ended up being a surprise on the trip. We kind of had that as a thing we might do if we had time, but we're certainly glad we did it. Lots of birds, got to see... we'll walk through a number of their cages where they were there with you, and then the monkeys experience where they got to kind of climb on you and play with you. That was also very incredible. As far as ziplining goes, top-notch tour. I'm not going to speak a lot about it because we have a whole video dedicated to some of the ziplining. And then on Monday, we decided to go to the Kirschenbosch Botanical Gardens. Again, very beautiful place to spend some time kind of walking around, and our best meal of the trip we enjoyed while we were there. And that was again at the Moyo restaurant inside the gardens. The second best restaurant we went to was the Hussar Grill. There's a couple different locations in Cape Town, but those are the top two we would recommend. And then we just spent the rest of our trip, our last 3 full days, just relaxing. Got massages, did beach days, and just really try to enjoy everything without a camera. Just really fully take it in before we had to head back to the U.S. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe.